I'm Margaret Ciacciarellis. This is my husband Michael, and we are here to talk about our son Max. When he was about 9 months old, our son was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder called Hurler syndrome. We learned that the best way to treat the disease is through a stem cell transplant.
When researching where we wanted to take our son for his care, we visited the University of Minnesota, and at that time we stopped into the Ronald McDonald House. And that became a factor in our decision in deciding to go to Minnesota. Was the house. It made us feel comfortable that if we needed to be there a long time, that we would be in a good place.
Of course, our main concern was our son's medical care, but we were blown away by the facility, and we knew it would be a good place for our daughter Grace, who was 3 years old at the time, especially during her adjustment through this whole time. And it turned out it was a great source of support for the two of us as well. Our son had a very rare disease that most doctors never encountered a child with it. And when we were living in the Ronald McDonald House, on our floor alone were 5 children with Hurler syndrome. And to be with parents who are going through the same thing with their child was just invaluable. Mike and I did 24-hour shifts, so you're extremely tired, you're drained, and we relied on the people and the volunteers at the Ronald McDonald House really to get us through. I feel like we were lifted up and carried through that whole experience. Everything we needed was there.
That's my grandma and Max. That's Max.
Our daughter was always very supportive of her brother. Everything he did was just a triumph for her as well.
Instead of starting in preschool like she would have in Illinois, we moved to Minnesota, and yet she still was able to be a part of a book club, and a weekly banjo player came, and she had music time with him.
I made lots of friends there. One friend didn't even live in the United States. She lived in Egypt, and we still write to each other.
There were activities, there were day trips and trips to the movies organized by people in the house. So there would be times where we were able to both be at the hospital with our son. Max's transplant complications had begun from the beginning, and as time went on, his health deteriorated. We weren't sure, and the doctors weren't sure if there was anything more that could be done. The house was very accommodating of different people in terms of just people who wanted to spend the last few days with our son. So finally we reached the point where it was the day before Thanksgiving, and that was the day that Max passed away. Looking back, on such a short life, you start to calculate just how short it was and how important every minute you had with your child was. The best explanation of that is all of the people who came to the Ronald McDonald House to cook dinners.
On my estimate, we gained 5 extra days in the months that we were there, just from meals alone. 5 days with our son. We've been volunteering at our local Ronald McDonald House since we got back. Having the opportunity to go to the house and cook in our son's memory is a blessing. To honor his memory in that way. As
much grief and sadness and everything that we experienced at the hospital, that's, I think, as much happiness and joy that we saw at the house. And that's what we took away from it.
Every cent that's donated, every bit of food that was cooked, any floor that was swept, any little thing made such a huge impact. They all add up, and they really make a difference in people's lives. And I think that's the lesson we try and live our lives by now, that even the smallest act of kindness can, when added up, can really equal something really huge.